Welcome back to my channel. I'm Nikki and you're watching 28 Days of Namastes. Have you ever met somebody that just had this sparkle in their eye? This radiance that exuded their entire being? Well, in the yoga tradition, we call that TEJAS. That radiant splendor that we see through the shine in one's eyes. And the way that we can cultivate that for ourselves is through tapas. And tapas means to heat or to purify. And what we do when we build tapas is we build our own inner sense of willpower. So it's our innate drive and self-discipline. And by cultivating this inner heat and purifying ourselves, the result is tejas. So when I say heat, a lot of times we think of external heat, like getting super sweaty, which can be one form of tapas. But for me, somebody that's always been pretty active and physical my entire life, it's much more difficult and challenging to wake up every morning and sit in stillness in meditation and to be steady and let the mind quiet and calm and slow down. So for me, a really big way to build tapas is through meditation, and I've been learning that through my journey for sure. And you may be the same way as well, or maybe the other way around. So there are quite a few ways that we can build tapas. If you're in this challenge, you're building tapas just by staying committed to it. So already well done. We're moving on with more asana today. And the asana that we'll be working with, as promised, is UTKATASANA, or chair pose. And it's a good one for us to get a little bit heated up, build some of that tejas, and so that we can leave the rest of our day really sparkling out there. So let's go ahead and get started. Meet me on your mats, right in the center. We'll face each other to start. So for chair pose, we want to start with the feet hip distance apart and parallel. So they're not turned in like pigeon-toed, and they're not turned out like a ballerina. We want them right under the hips, and you can measure that if you're not sure by putting two of your fists together, and they should fit perfectly in between. Yep, it's a good way to see how you're doing with that distance. Then the knees will go over the toes. And what we want to do when we bend our knees into chair pose is pretend like there's a little invisible chair behind you, and you want to tap your sits bones onto that little chair, dropping the weight back into the heels so that the knees stay over the toes and that they're not knocking in or splaying outward, that we're staying really evenly balanced. And we'll have the arms overhead for this, chin slightly down, navel drawing back to the spine, reaching the arms out, but keeping the gaze slightly down and forward, back of the neck long. That will help to contain this energy into the body and the chest rather than seeping up into our already energized and busy minds. So the way that we'll be working with this today, just watch, is for chair pose, we'll breathe in and let the arms sweep up. Exhale will take us into UTKATASANA, chair pose. Inhale will bring us back up. Exhale will bring us back in. Inhale, back out. We'll do a few rounds like that, and then we'll hold the pose. If you ever feel that the arms overhead are a little bit too intense and you're not able to keep that rhythmic control of your breath, that's totally okay. I'd rather you keep the breath in control and simply just keep the arms in heart center prayer or Anjali Mudra the whole time. Yeah, it's all the same thing. Just giving you all the names for it. Cool, so know that that's a modification. Take it at any time, any day, and just know that this is your journey. So just be honest, authentic with yourself, especially when we practice in group classes. It's often easy to get swayed by what someone else is going through and want to keep up with them or look good for them or whatever our ego mind tells us. But just be true to yourself. Stay with your breath, your alignment, and really that's all that matters. That's all that really matters. So let's go ahead and practice. So standing with your hips, with your feet hip distance apart. We'll start in mountain pose, arms down, shoulders roll back, chest is proud, gaze is forward, eyes are soft. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Just let that breath outside out. We'll work with chair. Inhale, arms sweep up gently overhead. Exhale, bend the knees, sit back, weight into the heels, gaze is slightly down and forward. Inhale, push through the legs, reach for the stars. Exhale, bend the knees, chair pose once again. Again, like that. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, bend the knees. Starting to feel it heat up, really stabilizing the lower back muscles. Inhale to rise. This is so great for the lower lumbar spine. Exhale, bend. Let's take one more just like this. You got it. Inhale, reaching all the way up. Keep that form. Exhale as you bend your knees. Sit deep. Let's do this. Stay here. Remember, the modification is hands at heart center. Holding here 5 breaths. Inhale, keep the breath steady. Exhale, sink the hips deeper. Navel draws back. You got this. You're in control. Inhale. Exhale. Be in the pose, but also just watch it happen. Moving beyond the body. Tapping into that part of you that is always at peace. Just one more breath. On your next inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, gently float the arms down without any adjustments. Just close the eyes. Stay here in mountain pose. Maybe notice a bit of tingling in the fingers, aliveness in the chest. Maybe even feeling a bit more inspired, energized. It's definitely a way that we can build to tapas. As you blink your eyes open, maybe you'll notice that tejas coming through and a little sparkle in those baby blues or browns or whatever you're working with. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a beautiful day.